everyone, and thanks for attending today's webinar. I am Dipali Kulshresht, working at Cloud Analogy as Senior Salesforce Consultant / Admin. Now I would like to thank our speaker, Rupali. So now let me allow to introduce her. She is working at Cloud Analogy from past 3 to 4 years as Salesforce Consultant. And today's topic is Field Service Lightning. Now I would like Rupali to take over and start the webinar. Hope you like it.
A warm welcome to all joining this webinar here. I, Rupali Dikshit, on behalf of Cloud Analogy, would like to introduce myself as a Salesforce administrator / consultant taking this initiative to conduct this webinar Series 1 on the topic of Field Service Lightning for Salesforce. Let me introduce you to the topic first. Field Service Lightning contains a customizable set of features that you can use to set up a user-friendly field service hub in Salesforce. It is also a powerful tool for management of various moving parts. Okay, so in this slide, I have 3 questions here, which I'm sure all of you must be very inquisitive about. So let's start from the first one. What is field service? So, Field Service Lightning is a customizable set of features with which you can create a hub in Salesforce which contains of various tools to manage your work orders, your scheduling, and as well as your mobile workforce. The second question is, what makes Field Service Lightning special? Okay, so in Field Service Lightning, we get the tools we need to manage work orders, scheduling, and mobile workforce. There are some of the features which we can do with FSL as well, which is we can create service resources and service crews that represent our field service technicians. We can also add skills to the service technicians. We can include the service technicians in the service territories. We can even reflect their availability on the time basis. There are various service crew members. We can store our inventory in a product inventory management in the warehouses. We can track the service vehicles and technicians. Okay, so our third question is, what is a workforce in FSL? So, a workforce is a combination, or we can say it is a set of all those features which are provided by Field Service Lightning, such as work order line items, service crews, service resources. All of these make up together as a workforce. Let's move on to our next slide. So, I'm sure many of you attending this webinar here must be very curious to clear your doubts and many questions regarding FSL today. So please hold on, as I will be clearing all your doubts at the end of the session here, and you can send me your questions through various platforms such as Skype. You can email me, or you can ask the question right here, right away at the end of this webinar series 1. Alright, let's move on to the next slide. So, we have 4 major building blocks, as I can say: work order, service resource, service appointment, and resource type. So, let's get down to each one of them one by one. So the first one is work order. Work order basically represents the task to be done in the field service. Okay, so each work order is assigned a service resource who will work upon it. Okay, fine. Let's move on to the second one. A service resource is an individual user, or we can say a group of users, and there is a particular term given to the group of users which is known as service crews, who can perform field service work. We can also create service resources, so we can assign particular and specific service appointments to them. Okay, so this way our work will be managed, right? Okay, our third term is service appointment. So, service appointments help you track field service work to be performed for customers, while work orders describe the work to be performed. Service appointments are where you add the scheduling and your assignment details as well. Well, service appointments can be added to work order line items, opportunities, accounts, or assets within Salesforce. So, particularly in most of the important tabs, you can add your service appointments. Okay, let's jump on to our next one, which is resource type. So, basically, there are four resource types available for service resources, which are technician, dispatcher, crew, and agent. Okay, so let's move on to our next slide, which is how to manage and monitor our technicians. So, uh, one of the biggest headaches, or I can say an obstacle for field service managers, is to efficiently schedule their technicians. Well, there's nothing to hassle about or worry about because software puts scheduling information in one place and it can be viewed by multiple personnel. Moreover, they can easily capture relevant customer and serving data and information on site. So, all of the service managers can efficiently track their technicians as to where their shipment has reached and when it will be successfully delivered. Okay, so our next slide is on the topic of order management. So, when we talk about orders, the first thing which pops up in our mind is about all those orders we make online or through a shopping store, right? So, yeah, orders in field service lightning are very similar to this. We simply add the associated account and contract with the specific dates and also specifying where the order needs to be shipped to and the billing address as well. So order management is not a very uh, it's not a very hard task for the field service managers as well, right? Okay, so this slide is talking about the job status updates. Okay, so this next feature quickly tells you about how you can manage the status updates of your field service resources. So let's first take a real life example so that all of our attendees can grasp the concept quickly. Okay, so suppose you hire a technician to install an air conditioner, a fridge, a television at your house, and you would want to track your technician as to what are the updates of the work to be done since maybe you would not be available at home 24/7. So, you can have the minute to minute updates of the work without being physically present. Isn't that a really cool feature now? Okay, jumping to our next slide. This explains how do we track our shipments with the particular service technicians allocated for the task to be done. Okay, so as your technician is carrying your equipments to be installed, you would obviously want time to time updates where your shipment has reached, right? This is generally very helpful when you need to catch up with an urgent task immediately and simultaneously you need to track the shipment whether it's on its way or not. I think this feature will make things much easier to manage and also assure everything is working out according to the flow decided. Another plus point to adapt field service lightning, right? Okay, Now we have this particular slide talking about route optimization and GPS navigation. As we all know, the importance of GPS in our day to day lives is very crucial. We need GPS whenever we are traveling, let's say to a new journey, and we would want to explore many new places, many monuments. GPS will be on the rescue then, right? You simply need to switch on your GPS navigation, and there you go. You have it all routed, right? So, as this topic is part of my second series FSL webinar, I would not be going much into depth with this topic right now, but surely I will be covering this in the series 2. Please hold on till then, people. Okay, so my next slide is on time tracking and driver logs. So we can establish operating hours for service territories and service resources to indicate when field service work can take place. We can also use timesheets to track how much time our field service employee has spent on tasks. I will be explaining about timesheets in the slides that follow. Okay, so as you can see, this slide is talking about knowledge and asset repositories. We obviously want to store all our data somewhere in cloud where we can always have its backup and we can use whenever it is necessary. So, first of all, let's understand what is an asset. An asset is a purchased or let's say an installed product which includes with it some maintenance plans as well. It is obviously very important to store assets and knowledge so that in future we can use them without the risk of losing those assets. Well, I think this is an indeed great advantage of being on cloud, right? Okay, so let's move on to inventory management. Okay, by the word inventory management, many of you must have been clicked on mind about how to store data on cloud, right? And how to actually see how our parts have been stored and had a backup, right? All right. So, tracking and managing the storage, request, transfer, and consumption of every item in your inventory is a very crucial step in managing our inventory, right? Okay, we also need to ensure that our mobile workforce has the right parts in stock to do their job. Obviously, whether parts are transferred from the warehouse to the customer or between technicians, your field service center has it all covered. Okay, let's talk about parts in the later slides. Now, when all of your work has been done, everything has been installed, everything has been completed, the main step comes, how do I pay? So, we have a very integrated invoicing slash payment processing in field service where there are various payment platforms which you can integrate within Salesforce, such as Stripe, PayPal, and can pay securely for your orders in a hassle free manner. Now, this feature on the slide is something which is needed by most of the customers, right? Let's say you have come across some issue or probably a very minor issue which you're not able to solve at your end. Obviously you would want some customer portal to answer your problem and solve it, right. So similarly, FSL provides customer support to all their customers in case of any issues. Also, their replies are so prompt you wouldn't have to worry about your work being delayed or being on hold. Fine. Now we have regulatory compliance measures. So, these are basically related to regulatory issues and official court work related in FSL. Okay, now as I earlier talked about timesheets in my slide of time tracking and driver logs, here we are again on the topic of timesheets. So, basically, timesheets make it possible to track service resources time and attendance. Okay, a timesheet covers a defined period of time. Okay, let's say a week or maybe a month or maybe a couple of days. Each timesheet is made up of timesheet entries which track specific tasks, travel time, and break time as well. Okay, so as you can see, this slide is talking about service appointments. So I have mentioned about service appointments in my previous slide many times. So let's get into depth with this topic. Service appointments help us track field service work to be performed for customers. While work orders describe the work to be performed, service appointments are where you add the scheduling and assignment details. You can also associate service appointments with several types of records. Okay, as I mentioned, we can add service appointments to our work order line items, opportunities, accounts, assets, you name it. You can add service appointments to these objects. Okay, you can also auto create service appointments in some situations where you would want it to create it automatically without your hassle. Okay, you can also define end client deadlines to be met. Suppose you need an appointment to be completed within 15 days and you have a fixed time and schedule for that on behalf of your client. So, service appointments really make your work to be managed in a systematic manner. Okay, so we are going into a deep topic which is field service inventory management. So this is, we can say it's our subtopic which is inventory management, and as you all know, inventory management can be used in field service. So these are some key points of inventory management, or we can say these are the parts of inventory management and which are integrated with field service. So I'll go into depth one by one, starting from create parts. Okay, after you customize your field service inventory settings, you can track where your inventory is stored by creating product items. Fine. Now let's talk about product items. Each product item is linked to a storage location, basically because product items, they represent your inventory. Okay, so such as a van or warehouse, and to a specific product indicating the item being stored. You can create product items so you can track inventory usage and restock when necessary. Okay, the third one is, how can we know when and which products we require? So, adding required products to work types saves you time and keeps your business processes consistent. Work orders and work order line items inherit their work types required products. Fine. It's very obvious when you are requesting products, so you would always have products consumed also, right? So we can create products consumed to track the use or consumption of items from your inventory. When a part leaves your inventory because it was used during a field service appointment, you can create a product consumed record so your inventory numbers are adjusted accordingly so that you can even add some request to replenish your inventory. Okay, so product item transactions. They describe actions performed on a product item. They are basically auto-generated records that help you track when a product item is replenished, consumed, or adjusted. Okay, our next bullet is product request. So requests are orders for products which you might create when stock is running low. Next is product request line items. They are basically subdivisions of a product request. Just like in Salesforce, we have opportunity and opportunity line items. Similarly, in FSL, we have these two objects. Our next one is product transfer. Product transfer track the transfer of product items between inventory locations. Return orders. Most of the time, many times it can happen that some orders have been returned on maybe some specific reason. So, return orders track the return or repair of particular products. Similarly, we have return order line items, which are again subdivisions of a return order. Last but not the least, shipments. Shipments represent the shipment of product items between locations. Okay, moving on to our next slide, which is what are service reports? So, this is a very good feature here within FSL to be able to create some service report templates and service reports. So, there are some features here, okay, and this will be explained in the live org. Okay, I would be creating some service templates and service reports and showing them to you later on. Okay, now calculating address geolocation in field service lightning. The first point is keeping geocoding data current. Second is turning off GPS tracking for individual users. And the third is opting out of geocoding. Okay, I can understand many of you are new to this topic. So, as this topic is a very vast one, I would be covering this in my series 2 webinar of Field Service Lightning. Now, we have guidelines for using signatures on service reports. So basically what happens is when we create a service report, we have an option of adding digital signature of the customer. So we can even set up signature types, which I will be showing on later. And basically we have various pick list values in the signature type, and signatures are always captured from the Field Service Lightning mobile app. Okay. We can also add these signature blocks to our service templates so that we can use them later on in the reports. Okay, now we have maintenance plans. Well, it's very important to always have a maintenance of our product to keep it running smoothly and to make it function well. So, maintenance plans are created for specific assets in FSL so that we never run out of warranty periods and routinely plans as well. Okay, so we came with a requirement for field service lightning. Now I'm going to show it everything live in the org so that you can understand better what I have explained in theoretical way till now. So it's time for some practical knowledge. So there was a call center company which which had a client who wanted to offer some services regarding installation of various products. So a case was raised by the client towards the call center company, and that call center company had provided a contact person for them, and the contact person took over the contract of field service lighting. So basically, the client wanted to manage and track everything that the installation is being done in the service. They basically wanted to track everything. So let's move on to the first building block, which is work type. So here I have created a work type by the name of cable install. Let's look into it. So we have the work type as cable install. We can give a description whichever suits you here, and we can provide an estimated duration of time, the time how much it will take to install that particular work. The duration type, will it take hours or minutes? Okay. We can even add a service report template layout uh, together with the work type. And since I have checked the auto create service appointment as per the requirement, so this is a work type cable install. Okay, let's look into our related tabs. We have the work type history. We have created, or maybe we have edited. Everything will reflect here. Now we have the products required. So we have also requested a product requirement of batteries in the quantity of 50. Let's look into this also. So as it has a lookup of work type, so we can give a quantity unit of measure, whether you want it none or you want it of each. You can also add the skill requirements here for the work type. And these skill requirements are basically for the service resources. Okay, let's move on to our next one, which is work order. Okay, here we have the work order. Here, as you can see, this is the information here. Here we have been written the work type as cable install. We have a service resource also assigned. We can add an asset here. We have the contact person also here. Status. So our work order right now is in new. We can assign a priority, whether it's low, whether it's on high priority. We have the work type here. Okay, we click on save. Fine. Now work order is related with many products. So we have the products required, we have the products request, which products have been consumed. Obviously, we would want to create a request as well, right? Here are the products consumed. So 10 quantity has been consumed. We have created two service reports here. Let's look at work order line items. As I explained that it is a subdivision of work order. Let's look at this here. We have the status as new. Okay. We have the order. We can even click on the order. So we can add a parent work order line item as well. We click on save. Okay, so this was our work order. We can even attach some files, some notes and attachment, important notes, which the it's required for the service technicians as well. Now, we have created a work order, but have we assigned this work to anyone right now? No. So, let's move on to service resource. There we go. We have service resource here. As I, this is my developer or so we have created one here. Okay. So here we have it by the name of Geocoding. It is active. The service resource must be active to be able to perform. Here we have, which I explained, the pick list values for resource type. We have technician, dispatcher, crew and agent. For now we have the requirement as per technician. Then we can add some description for the service resource as well. Okay, so we can add the activities also for the service resource. Let's move on to the related tab. Okay, so the related tab explains about service appointments. Obviously, service resource will be assigned a service appointment on which he or she has to perform. So, service resource we have Jane, and they will be adding the estimated travel time and the actual travel time, whatever they had estimated and how much actually they took time. Okay, we have added a skill set also to this particular resource. Let's look at this. So here we have the skill of cable install. In skill we need to add the work order here. Here we have the start date and the end date when the skill will be valid for. Okay, so similarly we can add some files. We have the history available for every tab of field service lightning. We have timesheets, service crews, work order, because we are assigning this work order to this service resource. Okay, we have assigned a service resource. Now we need to see the timesheets also. So we want to track basically how much time was spent on that particular order. Okay, let's go to timesheets now. Okay, so there is a timesheet created. Okay, so here we can see the timesheet start date and the timesheet end date. It has been added for service resource. The status is new. Okay, so this timesheet is valid for 9th of November to 30th of November. This basically keeps track of what work has been done and between what time frame. Now, in the related tabs, we have timesheet history. We have timesheet entries as I explained earlier. So, let's have a look at this. It's basically a subdivision of timesheets. So, the subject we have given is installation of AC. We have the start time and the end time for this. So this timesheet entry has been submitted. The type is direct because it has been assigned directly to the service resource. We have the work order here, the lookup of work order line item as well. So the duration it has been calculated is 240 minutes as explained out here. So this basically has been filled by the service resource to determine how much time it took for the installation to be completed. Okay, so now everything has been done. Let's talk about service crews. So service resources are assigned to service crews. Let's see where it fits here. So we have made a service crew here. Okay, we have added the crew size as 5. Let me show it to you here. We have given the name, the crew size, and save. In the related tabs, we have service crew members. So as we just have one member for now, so one is added. Similarly, files and attachments can be added. Okay. Now let's see our shipment tab. How our shipment works. We go to shipments. We have one shipment created here. Okay. So we have to fill in the destination of the shipment and source from where and to where it has been moved. Okay, we can add the address, exact address, shipping address, and the source address, the city, the state, everything, and the name, so that that particular person can accept the shipment. We can also add the tracking information here. So as I will be explaining this in my series 2 webinar, so we'll get into deep in there. We can provide the shipment provider also. Here I have FedEx. We have the status as shipped. It will be changed to delivered when it has been successfully delivered to the client. Okay, let's go to our related tab. Here we have our product transfers. So which product need to be transferred from the source to the destination. Okay, now we have created a service resource, a technician. Now who we have to also assign the operating hours, right? Okay, here are the operating hours for technician. I have created one here. Okay, so let me just quickly show it to you. Here we have it for technician. The time zone we can provide, so that if you are in a different country, you can similarly assign for the resource. We hit on save, and there we have assigned operating hours for your technician. So this will be added to your service resource. Fine. We can also add the time slots here. So day of the week, suppose we add it for Monday, and the type is normal. Start time, suppose we give it for 9 p.m. and the end time would be for 12:30 p.m. Sorry, we can add it till, okay, for 1 hour. So we hit on save, and our time slot has been saved. Okay, hours have been assigned, work order has been created, resources are on work. Now let's move on to maintenance plans. Here, okay, we have one created. Okay, this maintenance plans here, let's look into detail. Okay, we have the maintenance plans for these dates from for about 20 days here. We add the work type, we can also add account, frequency, how many times do you want this maintenance plans to be generated. We have the time frame also, for which months. Possibly you can make it days, weeks, or years as well, according to your own requirement. Okay, we can auto generate work orders from here or generate new batch from here also. Fine. So let's go on related. Obviously, we would have some work orders here, assets, files, and the history. Okay, now we also talked about return orders, right? If the client is not satisfied or probably he wants some repairing to be done or replacement to be done, let's look into return orders. Okay, so this is the return order here. This has been returned by the particular user, so this will have the lookup of the user. The status has been submitted yet, it has not been approved or cancelled or closed. We can change the state according to the work done. We have the case assigned. Obviously, a case will be raised for the return order, the account, the product request, and the shipping information also, from where it has been shipped and by which date it will be arrived. We can add description for the technician so that it is easier for him to resolve the issue. Let's move on to the related tab. Obviously, we would be having all these lookups because a return order would be made for a work order, right? And for a work order line item. Fine, you can add some files for further clarification also. Okay, now I hope I hope everybody of you have understood whatever I have explained till now. So thank you so much. And now this session is open to all for the Q&A session. Okay, so all of you must have found this webinar interesting, and I hope everybody would have understood what I have explained till now. So this session is open for Q&A. So if anybody has some questions, you can ask right now.
Hi, so it was
Hi.
a very good webinar. I want to ask one question. Like, is there any way you will configure field service lightning for your Salesforce org?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for the feedback. And yes, you can enable field service night lightning. You need to enable that in the Salesforce org. So let me show it to you in my org. Okay, so in the quick find, we will type field service. We go to field service settings. And here, as you can see, there is a checkbox for enable field service lightning, and we have to check this to true, and then we have to save the settings. I hope I have cleared your question now.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so do we have any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, Rupali, hi. It was a great webinar on field service as it was a new topic for me. So you have talked about service report templates and how we can use them in service report. So could you please show me the functionality in Salesforce?
Oh, yes, I can. Okay, so first we need to go to our object for which we have to create a report. So here we will go for work order. We will click on the particular record, and from these settings we can create a service report. As you can see, we have to choose a template first. So let me show you how to create the template. We click on service report template. Here we can create several service report templates. For now, I have created one by the name of system admin, and one standard template is available in Salesforce. So we can activate them and we can use them out here. So this is the summarized report which you will receive on clicking on service report. I hope I have cleared your question.
Yes, and
Okay, thank you. Right, so now let's wrap up our webinar series 1 on field service lightning here. Please do let me know your feedback on Skype and email as well. And please hold on until my next webinar series 2 on field service lightning comes up. Thank you, everybody.